It's Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Come
on! Buenos dias, muchachos. We're back. It's my man JJ, it's my man Gary, and it's Holden, and we'll get Joey Work back in here next week. Joey is driving today, so why the hell does Joey want to do a show if he's driving? I don't know what JJ's doing, and Gary, just looking wonderful as always. I know we had a comment here in the chat. They set the line for 12:03 Eastern time to start the show. It started on time. So, Brian, you can take that and stick it where the sun don't shine. Bill Miner, you're right. Hit the like button when you get a chance. That would be awesome. Jimmy B was number 5, just so everybody knows. And we got a promo code, NFL20, 20% off the lifetime of your subscription. Whether you die or we die, or if everybody stays alive forever, you just get that deal forever. So here we go. JJ, wonderful to see you. I'm sure you feel the same way as I do, seeing me this morning. What's happening in the betting streets, my friend?
I think I speak on behalf of everyone. I think you're starting to let yourself go. The hair, the hair is getting out of control. You're back to wearing thrift shop clothing to this show again, and it's tough to see because one could argue you're going through a midlife crisis, but I think that I'll let you dictate that. However, the hair, though, that's how usually I could tell the kind of mood you're in. Usually it's like it's high and tight, it's slicked back. Today it's just like high and dry, almost like you blow dried it up. So any thoughts on what's going on in your life, Holden? Because I feel like the hair says a lot about you.
No, I'm listening to your bullshit. First of all, my hair is great. I don't know why you are criticizing it. I think it looks wonderful. Second of all, I'm wearing a swim shirt. This is what you wear outside when you're old to block the UV rays. Okay. Why am I wearing a swim shirt today? Great question. Because I just got back from the mountains. It was beautiful up there, and I ended up leaving all my good clothes up there. So this is what I have to go with. Third of all, again, my hair looks great. And fourth of all, we'll just go to Gary and let him decide. I'm sure he's going to be on your side with this, but I don't even give a shit at this point. Good morning, Gary. Looking handsome as ever. I'm sure your hair is great, and I love your shirt.
Yeah, so I got a collared shirt on today. I'm going to be hitting the golf links up after the show today, so I have to be prepared for that. I got to go out and shoot my 100. It's a great day to shoot 100. And your hair is fine. Like, I don't know what JJ's talking about. Like, it's fine to me.
I think it's great. I spent 30 seconds on it, maybe even less than 30 seconds, but I definitely did. And the other thing is, why would you wear a collared shirt on a golf course? What are we doing here in the year 2023, I believe it is? Why are we still wearing collars to golf?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I mean, I guess to keep the riffraff out is what they say, but like, what's the riffraff nowadays? I mean, we have plenty of riffraff people that wear collared shirts all the time. So
what do you think about just making a statement today, going to the golf course with a pair of scissors and cutting the collars off right in front of the people that work there?
No, I actually want to play golf today.
Okay. JJ,
would you prefer folks wear tank tops to the golf course?
Actually, I do. I'm all for screwing over authority at snobby golf courses. Yes. If you're going to
I have a question. So you seen that picture going around with Kyler Murray and his little bra, his little sports bra? Can we wear that? Can I wear that to play golf today?
I've not seen this thing. I'm going to go to the Twitter machine and go look it up right now. He's wearing a sports
bra. It's like you see that, Gary. Like, a party is like, what the hell is he wearing? The other part's like, well, once you even find out what it actually is, you're like, again, what the hell is he actually wearing? Because he could have wore that and just wore a T-shirt over it. Nobody would have noticed any difference. It's like a very sophisticated heart rate monitor that comes in a shirt. But I just don't understand why you would go out and wear it like that.
You got it for free, probably.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would look amazing. I would look amazing in that tank top. I mean, everything would just be hanging out. It'd be fantastic.
I mean, I don't even know. I'm just seeing this for the first time. This is astounding. I think Kyler Murray at this point just doesn't give a damn about life, about anything. I think he says, you know what? They're going to give me a free heart monitor and I'm going to wear it. And I don't care what anybody has to say about me. I signed a gigantic contract and it really doesn't matter. So good for Kyler Murray, good for JJ, good for Gary, good for me. A lot of wonderful comments in the chat here. Of course, Abe Toro doesn't make up for my 5 IQ. Brian, go screw and take your blue chews, you old man. Listen, buddy, if there's one thing I can admit, it's all natural down there. I don't need that garbage unless I really want to take it to the next level.
Imagine not taking Cialis, though, Holden.
I told you I did the first time. I took the blue pill at 27, and my girlfriend was not walking right for a week. She told me to stop doing it.
Here we go with this fairy tale, Gary. I felt like we avoided this last week.
True story.
Yeah, it's like the fish story. It's like the fisherman story. My fish was this big.
Holden's just changed his name to Mother Goose on this show. He's just sitting here telling fairy tales for an hour.
Listen, any of you guys out there in your 20s that don't need performance-enhancing drugs for your penis, I recommend you take one and completely just blow your loved one away. Man, woman, it doesn't matter. Do it and have a great time. At 57, you should start taking it. I don't need it, Terry Niehaus. I'm sure your old saggy balls do though.
I just find it hard to believe that you took one Viagra and it turned you into a giraffe. It doesn't
increase the size. It's like a performance hand. You just can't stop. It won't end. It's fun and it's not fun at the same time, JJ.
It's a world I don't know.
Gary, you ever taken any performance enhancers of any sort?
Negative.
It's unfortunate. Okay, we got to get JJ out of here there's a NASCAR show again today. It's like it's never stopping.
There sure is. I love how now today it's his job, Gary. It's his job every week to get us out of here by 1 o'clock. And today he's taking extra extents around that. Okay. Thank you, Holden.
You're welcome. We're going to start with our 9-game schedule in DFS. We'll ask Gary about the DFS. JJ knows DFS and betting. Then we'll get into the game lines with JJ as well. First, Gary, before we get into this, I'm not too worried about any weather. Should I be worried about any weather on today's slate? Because it just looks like we got blue skies everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome weather across the U.S. today. It's nice out here too. Low humidity here on the eastern seaboard, which you really love to see. So shouldn't have to worry about any of that today.
I do want to say this. Where's Joseph Work? Got questions about the 360-year-olds that I banged him at the bar. Interesting. What
you think Joey's in the middle of like an episode of the Golden Girls? Like you think?
I would. If it's 3-on-1, why would you say no?
Let me ask you this: if the equivalent would be like if for Joey it's 360-year-olds, for you it would be 390-year-olds,
right?
Like would you roll up to a nursing home and just kind of start spitting the Riz?
Would you? Would I? I already have. So.
This conversation's over.
Yeah, this conversation is over. All right, all I did was ask about the weather, and you had to turn it into 360-year-old, AJ. Seattle and Houston is our first game. We'll talk about from the DFS side. Hit the like button because we're amazing. We've got one Hunter Brown on the mound at 9,300, taking on our boy Emerson Hancock, who completely shoved us on us in his last start. It was not a good scene. He's 5,500 today, Gary. Brown, Hancock, Seattle's offense unstoppable right now. What do you want to do with this game?
Stack it up. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the bats here quite a bit. I think I like the Seattle side a lot more here. I just think you're going to see some Hunter Brown ownership today up there in the 20 percentile range. And I just don't think he's that good. You look at his box score, like I couldn't pay that price. I'm like, what price is he? 9,300, something like that.
Yeah, 9,300.
Yeah, 9,300 for him. His projection, I know Captain probably likes him a little bit. I see the projection for him. He's got an 18 projection. I bumped his projection all the way down to like 14.5 in this spot. If you look at his last 30-day data, which I look at quite a bit in MLB, he's allowing over a 227 ISO and over a 345 WOBA to both sides of the plate. He's only striking people out at like a 20% clip. And he's given up 50% hard contact to both sides of the plate. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster here against a hot team. And we know I like playing hot teams. And who's hotter right now on this planet than Julio Rodriguez? He's 21 for his last 37 with 13 RBIs. Just incredible run he's on right now. And I'm going to keep on riding it here today. Like him, obviously a ton. Teoscar Hernandez is another guy that's gotten it going here over the last week. He's 13 for his last 27 as well. And then you go down the lineup. Ty France, 3,700. I like that quite a bit. Another sneaky guy I like in the Seattle lineup, Dylan Moore, down in the 7-hole, I think he is.
Yep.
He's batting 357 and a 418 WOBA over the last 30 days against righties specifically. He's K'ing a lot, but it's basically a home run or strikeout for Dylan Moore. And he's going to be really, really low owned today. So I like Dylan Moore quite a bit. At the second base, shortstop position, he's only 2,900. So on a slate where pitching isn't that great for me, I'm probably going to be way over the field on Max Scherzer today. I'm going to need some cheap bets because Max Scherzer is 11K. And I think Max Scherzer on this slate is just hard to get away from. So I obviously like the Houston side too. I just don't like this kid. I mean, we've been playing him the first couple starts, but now he gets a true test here in this Astros lineup. It sucks that Tucker's not in the lineup, but hey, I still like it top to bottom here. Obviously, the top 5 are the main priorities, and Yainer Diaz is always one of my favorite catchers to play. I always feel like he's underpriced. I feel like he's underpriced again here. He's 3,800. This guy should be 5K. I mean, if you look at his last 30-day data, he's got a 400 ISO and a 472 WOBA against righties with only a 14% strikeout rate. So I like Diaz here quite a bit and like this whole game for bets.
JJ kind of looks like a good game stack in DFS. Here's the numbers, though. 8.5 is the total. Juice the over at -20. Mariners plus 154 on the road. If you want to get a nice price on a team that's red hot right now, -185 for the Astros. Any thoughts on the DFS and betting sides of this game?
Yeah, so slight disagreement with Gary. I don't love the bats here. I actually bet this under 8.5 at plus 100. Houston obviously sat a few bats for this game. Seattle at minimum sat a bat because what's his name? Rayleigh's out at the catcher position today. If you look at these lineups, they're not great today. You got 2 of the best bullpens in the game. So when this does get handed off, you're in good hands from there. And the top bullpen arms for both teams haven't seen really any action this series. Maybe a few games ago, but either way, completely good to go today. And look, Seattle, yeah, they've been doing a lot of production, but a lot of that's been Julio. So to me, you're Hunter Brown, liking to pitch around him today, and then just look to get outs elsewhere. And again, 8.5 for this game. And look, I'm not a big, obviously Hancock's super young, but he is, I think, the second or third best prospect Seattle has. So I do expect him to throw okay because Houston's not really hitting that well as a group. So it's not like, they're coming in hot. Seattle's definitely been hitting, but Hunter Brown may be a spot where he can bounce back a bit. Again, this lineup for Seattle today is not that intimidating. Again, once you get past Julio, there's definitely outs to be found. Both these pitchers' advanced metrics look relatively good. Again, handing off to a good bullpen as well on both ends. I think this 8.5 number is a bit high. And again, you get it no vig at plus 100. So I bet that under 8.5.
Would you like to retort, Gary, or just say that you lost?
It's fine. So, I agree with the bullpen stuff. Both bullpens are elite here. That's definitely the only detractor for me. But like I said, look at this Houston lineup. Look at their walk rates, 13%, which is, that's really, really good. And Emerson Hancock has had walk issues here through his first 2 starts. So I just think it could get off the rails for him here pretty quick. So yeah, I still like the bets.
To be clear, there are guys that could semi-nuke in this game, and it could still fall under 8.5. Especially if most of the runs come via the home run. But we'll see. I just think it's a little big, but time will tell.
All right, let's get to our next game. Jake Junis, Max Fried in Atlanta with the Giants visiting the Braves. Totals 9 here. Heavy favorites for the Braves at -218. So Gary, when you look at this Braves offense today, my sense is you're going to be all over them. And the question is just how you're building your lineups at this point. Rosario coming off a nice big shot last night as well. How, it's not if, I can almost guarantee you, how are you building the Braves today?
So I did like them quite a bit. My interest in them just declined just a little bit when Michael Harris got scratched from the lineup. He had a foul ball off his foot last night. So he's not in the lineup. They got Eddie Rosario up in the 2-hole and Kevin Pillar in the 7-hole. So, I mean, yes, the Braves are definitely cheaper now because you got Kevin Pillar in there. A little less pinch hit risk with Harris out for both of those guys. So that's good. But, man, it's really just a top 5 for me. I really don't have interest. I mean, Murphy's fine. Ozuna, let's talk about Ozuna for a minute. This guy is like on fire. Like he's got like a 16-game hitting streak. He's hitting multiple hits and all these games. It's just incredible for him. You know, the start of the year that he was under 100. So what are y'all laughing at? Y'all laughing at me or what? What's going on?
I'm not laughing at anything. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
I'm not laughing.
I didn't have the screen up.
That's funny is that Mike Gray said Uncle Dunkle looks like your younger degenerate brother.
I can see that.
That's funny.
When he said Gary, he said Gary V. Is he talking about that investor guy, or is he talking about this?
No,
Gary?
he's talking about Gary Sausage, the guy we're doing the show with.
But anyway, so yeah, I like the Braves, but they're not my favorite. I prefer the Seattle Houston game, and I prefer a couple other spots. The Braves will not be on my main team, but I'll have some in my 150 for sure.
Ooh, okay. I hear what you.
And I do like Max Fried here a little bit.
And Ozuna.
I know Max Fried's 9,900. It doesn't look.
Pick that up your ass, Holden.
I've never even heard of that guy. All I know is that he was talking about Gary, and we're doing a show with Gary. So yes, you look like Gary's younger degenerate brother. Sorry, Gary. I know you're trying to break this down, but that's just not how the show works. The actual analysis is the third most important thing on here. Facts are the most important things. Talking shit is the second most important things, and then the slate. So sorry about that, buddy.
I also apologize.
Yes. So yeah, I definitely like Max Fried here. He got up to 83 pitches in his last start. They pulled him kind of early. They're going to definitely be cautious with him. So I think you still see 85 and 90 pitches here, in a very easy matchup for him. So I mean, I love him here. He looks dialed in, just looking at the eye test coming off that injury. So I do like Max Fried. He's probably my second or third favorite pitcher on the slate.
Ozuna one-off? Why not?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. All right, JJ, thoughts on betting this game? And I'll go back and I'll say it again. Total here is 9, and the Braves are minus 218 favorites. I'm really not getting a sense that I want to go either way with this game. It might be a complete fade, even DFS-wise.
I'm just looking up Gary V's brother real quick to confirm the accuracy. It's not bad. So good work, Mike. All right. So this game, nothing that I particularly love. I could definitely see people slotting in Fried. It was also nice to see, Gary. I'm not sure how much you jumped in yesterday, but what was that? 3% owned Atlanta last night. I know they didn't like nuke the slate, but how often do you see that? So interesting there. But in regards to this game, Giants aren't hitting. Now they're seeing a good pitcher. I just think it's tough to love anything about the Giants side. Makes Fried an even better option, in my opinion. I don't necessarily love the Atlanta bats today because it would be hard to play Fried and the bats together, but prefer Fried over the bats, but I could be convinced into the bats, especially since they slotted Rosario up in the 2-hole today after his 4-for-4 game yesterday. So me, it's more Fried than anything.
Yeah, it's almost like you almost have to ride the wave with Ozuna, right? He does nothing for 6 weeks, and then for 2 or 3 weeks, he just goes bananas. So that's good. What is Mangone talking about? Happy to be home listening to Holden. Wild to say that.
Somebody hacked his account. Somebody, like, he's in danger.
What?
He's in like serious danger right now.
Did you see what happened to that dude? Like, apparently he pulled a all-night bender. Like, he just went off on a 24-hour bender, Mangone did. And nobody knew what was going on with him. Apparently, Big T was walking down the hotel floor. Like 3 buxom women came out, walking out there. Mangone was completely without clothes. Hair completely disheveled. Big T's like, hey, Mangone, nice job with those 3. And he's like, don't worry about it. It's not a great story. So I do wonder what happened with Mangone behind the scenes there and the 3 ladies in the room. Gary, any thoughts there?
Yeah, just use your imagination.
Okay. My imagination is he asked them to help him build DFS lineups and talk game theory with them. JJ, your thoughts?
Yeah, probably that. Yeah, probably that. So no, respectful. Obviously, you know, Mangone's a respectful man. I think many women would be proud to be with him, and that story alone shows it. So good for him and good for you, Travis. Keep up the good work.
If I was a woman, Mangone would definitely be, on my short list. No question. Very nice individual. Very nice individual and short, like I like him. You know what I'm saying? Let's move on to our third game. No, you don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
That it just didn't seem necessary. It felt like
whoosh. You're gonna say nice things about me. Just I'm gonna say nice things back. Red Sox and Yankees. So we got some Winkowski / Pivetta action today on the mound for the Sox. We got Clark Schmidt back on the mound for the Yankees. This rivalry has turned into a complete dud now. These teams forget about them. 9 is the total, juice to the over at -120. Yankees slight favorites, -15. Red Sox -105. Gary, let's talk about this from a DFS side. And I do want to ask you about Pivetta, because we're probably going to see him go that bulk reliever role, maybe. If he's pitching well, 4-5 innings today. Is he worth the price at 8-2?
Yeah, I mean, I think he is. I think it's borderline, right? I mean, you're only going to get 4 to 5 innings, but man, this pitchers against New York has just been cleaning up recently. I mean, the Braves swept them. They're about to get swept again here today. They're just in shambles right now. I was hoping Joey Work was going to be on here so I could just completely dog shit his team right in front of him. But he was a coward and didn't want to show up today, knowing that his Yankees suck. So.
Did you just talk shit for the first time on this show ever?
This is what happens when you throw a nice guy into the lion's den. Okay?
Yeah, he's not even here. JJ
Gary was a nice guy before he started doing this show.
I like it.
And now he's a douchebag. So good job to you, Holden. Good job.
Actually, I respect Gary now. I love it, because if you're gonna talk trash about someone, make sure he's nowhere around to hear it.
Hey, he's probably watching somewhere. I mean, this is primetime TV right here.
To be clear, Gary, I've always respected you. I didn't need you to have to talk shit about Joey Work on this show like Holden to start.
No, I respect you too, Gary. I think you do a great job.
Well, thank you. But back to my Yankees bashing. I mean, how bad is this Yankees team? Like literally, like how many years is it going to take for the Yankees to get back to the World Series? What do you think, JJ?
Well, Joey Work would also say that I'm a closeted Yankees fan. So this actually hurts me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
no, go ahead.
Answer the question.
I think health has been a big problem this year for them. I also think, by the way, they could backdoor themselves into the playoffs this year with the right end to the season. I don't think that's going to happen, but
zero chance.
They're at least a few years away.
A few years.
Here's my analysis on the Yankees. They have like 4 tradable pieces in their whole organization. That's it.
Who?
They have no farm system. They have no pitching. Garrett Cole's getting blown up. Like, I just don't. They just need to ship off Aaron Judge. They should have signed him. They need to get a king's ransom for him. They need to send off Gleyber Torres, get a king's ransom for him, because they're their best 2 players in their everyday lineup. I mean, you got guys, Jake Bowers, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Harrison Bader, Billy McKinney. Like, who are these scrubs? I mean, I just don't understand. The fall from grace is severe for the Yankees.
Good thing with them is they have money. They could fix some problems in the offseason. But yes, I
do. How'd that go for Steve Cohen last year, trying to buy everything?
Fair.
I just don't think that's not the proper way to build an organization. You think you can buy everything? It just doesn't work. It never works. But anyway,
and honestly, Gary, it didn't even work for the Yankees during their dynasty, the 96, 8, 99, and 2000. And then they got to the World Series and lost because they still had Jeter, Posada, a whole bunch of homegrown guys, and then they just added the free agents around them. Who are the great homegrown guys besides for Judge right now? Tell me. Who is it? Who are the great players that are homegrown?
They have
Torres.
Giancarlo
is the next. I mean, it's just. I think it's going to be 10+ years before you see the Yankees any good.
Settle down, Kreskin. You don't know that. 10 years.
I don't think the Yankees are going to be relevant until like 2040.
10 years. He says 10
not
years.
Going to be relevant. Not going to be relevant until they get rid of Brian Cashman. Get rid of him and start over.
Okay.
But anyway,
any other analysis here? Any plays?
Yes. Yes, I absolutely love the Red Sox here. They're going to absolutely murder this Yankees team today. I think they put up 10-plus runs here. Clark Schmidt is not any good. He's allowing so much hard contact to lefties, specifically 60% to be exact over the last month. I know he faced the Braves in Atlanta in his last start. How'd that go? That did not go well at all. No. It's not going to go well for him here either with this Boston team that rolled out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lefties here. So, yeah, all in on the Red Sox. They are my top stack of the slate today.
Ooh, JJ, I don't know which way you're going with this game, but again, total's 9. Basically, no big favorite here. Yankees minus 15. What do you got for Red Sox?
As a host, once again, Holden, great work. I had the Red Sox on the sheet over an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. Gary, I did bet the Red Sox with you today. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. They've been really seeing the baseball well. The Yankees, I think, have lost 7 or 8 in a row. After it seemed like the Yankees were on a bit of a run there, definitely fell from grace and quite quickly. Schmidt's usually better at home. We're going to get one inning out of Winkowski, and Pivetta is always a little Jekyll and Hyde. But again, you look at this Yankees lineup, there's just not a lot to love about it. And the Red Sox are just hitting. So all things considered, really like the Red Sox at this cheap price at a pick 'em. So that's where I fired. Now, I don't know if they're going to blow out the Yankees today, but I do think the price is at least 20, 25 cents short.
All right. For those of you that are interested in tailing JJ, Astros Mariners under 8.5, Red Sox money line. There you go. We got one more pick from JJ, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But I'll remind you right now, hit the like button. That'd be great. We have a wonderful promo going on right now. 20% off lifetime of all your packages. NFL 20 is the code. Yes. Yes. JJ, what's so funny?
This comment is funny.
Your thoughts?
Good work, Brian. Good work.
I wonder, was he asking that, or was he thinking that I was going to ask him that after listening to him talk about the Yankees?
I don't know, but it was quality.
Brian, just rewind like 3 minutes. That's fine.
Anyways, hit the like button. NFL 20 is the code. You still get baseball right through the playoffs, right through the World Series. We'll be giving you great picks from that on the bet side and here on the DFS side. You get a playbook. Gary broke down every single team today, every single pitcher that he likes, and he told you which teams to stay away from. NFL preseason, we have been rolling. Bruce's projections have been monstrous here on the DFS side. Rubio, Kurt, Meg, all doing a great job. I had a really nice night in NFL preseason last night in Showdown, so make sure you get our content for that. And then, of course, the regular season right around the corner. We are 18 days away from the Chiefs and the Lions, and then we are 3 weeks, 21 days away from the big regular season opener on Sunday. So you get all that and more. NASCAR, golf, on and on and on. 20% off NFL 20. On to our next game here on the DFS and betting slate. Cleveland and Detroit, Gary. We do have our boy Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound taking on this anemic Guardians offense, and then Logan Allen on the other side. And Logan Allen is coming off a monster start at Cincinnati in the Ohio Cup. Do you know who won the Ohio Cup, Gary?
I don't know what the Ohio Cup is. I don't know what
same here, Gary.
Another one of those contrived bullshit trophies they give away. Like the Astros and the Rangers have the Silver Boot series. This was the Ohio Cup. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We're just focusing on the Tigers and Guardians today, Gary. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no bats for me here. Just two shit offenses that I'd rather not play. So not going to do that. But I did have a conundrum this morning when I was doing the playbook. I looked at Eduardo Rodriguez's price, and I said, hell to the no, I'm not paying that. There's no chance I'm paying over $10K for Erod. And then I see Captain's projection that he has for him, 22.87 projection. Like, holy shit. That's up there with Max Scherzer's projection on this slate. I still can't do it. I'm not paying 10.5K. 10.4K for Erod on this slate. I know he's going to be a little lower owned. I get it. I get this Cleveland team stinks. I get it. They don't really strike out, though. They make contact. They're a little pesky at times. I am not playing Erod at that price. I just refuse to do it. And Logan Allen coming off a career-high game is normally a stay-away spot for me, and today it's not going to be any different. I'll have a little bit in my 150 just because he's facing the Tigers. But he's going to be one of, if not the most popular pitcher on this slate. I'd rather be way under the field on that.
JJ 7.5, a low total here. Juice the over at -15, -118 for the Tigers. Even money for Logan Allen and the Guardians. I don't know if you have any thoughts on these pitchers in the DFS side of things, but boy, this total is so low. Really, does it take that much to get to 8 runs?
Yeah, so definitely can't pay that price for Eduardo Rodriguez. And I get the projection, right? Because even his betting peripherals on the market look pretty good. 5.5, -115 for Ks, and he's basically -190 to go 6 innings. So I get it to a certain extent, but like Gary said, he doesn't really consistently strike folks out, so it's hard to really warrant that tag. And by the way, like by far the biggest tag he's had all year. Separate from that, Logan Allen always seems to be playable, I guess. I don't love the spot though. Tigers are hitting. And yes, we go through these streaks year in and year out where bad teams go through, weeks on end where they're hitting well. Detroit's kind of in that mode right now. So I wouldn't play either pitcher from this game. And worth noting, our friend Joey Work did bet the Tigers here. So, and I know he's a Logan Allen guy. So if he's taking a stand fading him here, obviously must have some pretty serious conviction. So worth noting as well for the folks. Now Joey Work's not here, but I know for a fact he did bet the Tigers today.
Okay. Let's move on to our next game then. Pretty simple as that. It's going to be Toronto at Cincinnati. So in the Great America Small Park, we've got Hunter Green, Gary, coming off the IL. Should throw around 90 pitches today, right? I think in the playbook, you even said he'd thrown a little over 80 pitches in his last rehab start. On the other side, Hyun-Jin Ryu, a guy that missed almost all the season, and then now he's come back and he finally got through 5 innings and 86 pitches in his last start. And I wonder if Ryu has a shot of getting into the mid-90s or even 100 pitches today. So Toronto, Cincinnati, small ballpark, Green, Ryu, the pitching matchup. Do you like any pitchers to start before you get into the bats?
I like both pitchers here. So today's slate is a little wonky in that there are no real viable cheap pitching options on this slate to make your lineups a little different. And I think Ryu could be that guy for us today. Cincinnati has just been really bad. Over the last 2 weeks, they're the 3rd most strikeouts and the dead last offense against lefties. Over the last month, 9th most strikeouts and a bottom 10 offense against lefties. So I think Ryu can squeak out 15 DraftKings points here and probably get the win. I think he goes 5 to 6 innings. I think he gets up to the 90 pitches, somewhere up in there. So, yeah, I do like Ryu a little bit. And I love me some Hunter Green in this spot. I mean, if you look at Toronto over the last 2 weeks, over the last month, they've been a bottom 5 offense against righties and the 11th most strikeouts over the last month. So Hunter Green coming back here. He's got a massive he's got a 6.5 strikeout prop here. It's juiced to the over. I know he's going to be very popular, but he's going to be my second highest owned pitcher on today's slate.
Wow. All right, JJ, I wonder if you're in cahoots here with Gary on the thoughts of the pitching. Total's 9, -20 to the over is the juice. Basically, even money for the Reds, -15 for the Blue Jays. Ryu, Green, any thoughts on the side, the total, or DFS?
Relatively indifferent to the game as a whole, but I do slide slightly towards what Gary was saying, where the pitchers do make sense. The Reds, going back to Gary's point, 2.5 weeks now, the games they've won have really just been because of their pitching. They haven't been hitting at all. And the Jays have certainly been striking out. Interestingly enough, obviously a guy like Hunter Green coming back off a lengthy, injury, did go, I think it was sub 85 pitches in his last rehab start. So shouldn't be on a pitch count limit in theory. What I do like is they have his K prop 6.5 -130, which means it got steamed up a bit because there's no way it opened at that. So people clearly like him to mow down the lineup today. I don't like the projected outs on his end. I think it's like 15.5, which would barely have him going 5 innings. But the Ks are nice, and at the price, not totally bad. I guess my big thing is how much, when you play a guy like Hunter Green at 9K, you're really hoping to potentially get that ceiling game out of him. I don't know the percentages. It's probably pretty low that you get that ceiling game out of him today. So just something to consider, especially a guy that's going to be sub 30, 28-ish% owned. So it's not like he's not going to be unowned. And I do have question marks around his ceiling. Don't get me wrong, cash games, guy makes a ton of sense in your 50-50s, double ups and whatnot. But I personally wouldn't want to play him in tournaments just because I don't think he has that huge upside today. Ryu at a lower price is definitely worth playing as well because, again, you don't need as much out of him. But lean the pitchers. and nothing to do with the bats for me in this one.
All right. Very good. Let's continue to roll on. Hit the like button if you would. It helps us out with something called an algorithm. Not sure what that is, but everybody says if you do it, it's great for everybody. And that'll bring you good mojo, as we all know. Pittsburgh, Minnesota is our next one. Oh, this is great. Dallas, Keuchel. Oh, boy. Do we hold on. Let me go look at this. Inning in the third, 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned. Didn't give up a home run in that start at Philadelphia. So I guess that's good news for him. Also has not given up a home run since he's returned in his last 2 starts, Gary. This is what I would call progress for him. Minus 13.7 DK points. Yes. We love targeting him. And then you'll have a little Barucki-Bido tandem going to the mound for the Pirates. My sense is that the Pirates are going to be pretty popular DFS play today with the bats. Do you agree? And are you playing any Pirates today?
Yeah, I don't hate the Pirates here. Anytime Dallas Keuchel's on the mound on the other side, I will have interest in the offense, no matter who it is. And definitely no exception here. I'm not going to full 5-man either one of these teams today, but I will be heavy on the mini stack department, the 2-mans. And for Pittsburgh, it's Brian Hayes. It's the over Pagoro that I like the most. He is in the lineup. Cool. So he's been hitting the ball pretty good as of late over the last 30 days against lefties. He's got a 222 ISO and a 372 WOBA. So like him a lot. Like Indy Rodriguez, $2,900 catcher, really cheap. I think you're going to see a lot of ownership out of Ji Hwan Bae today. Probably just stay away from that chalk. So I won't be having any of that, but I definitely prefer the Pirates side here to the Twins. I mean, the Pirates are just going to be rolling out this bullpen game here, and I just really never like to target bullpen games. Plus, you have all the pinch hit risk with this Minnesota team. So, I mean, I guess you can convince me to play like Ryan Jeffers, Royce Lewis, guys that I think that are going to definitely stay in the lineup for my mini stacks. So. I definitely like the Pittsburgh side here more, but I will have some Minnesota.
Okay. What do you got here in this game, JJ? Because we're sitting here at a total of 9.5. Everybody's going to be targeting Keuchel today and the Pirates plus 110 on the road in Minnesota against the Twins. I wonder if at least targeting the Pirates for the first 5 would be in play, or is the pitching for the Pirates almost as bad as what we're going to see from Keuchel?
So early this morning when I was looking up and down this slate, I really wanted to bet this game under. It was 10 in the morning when I was looking at this earlier. It's come back down to 9.5, which I guess sort of makes sense. I know people might look at this and be like, oh, Barucki and Keuchel, this is an easy over. Just realize in Minnesota, I mean, I think now the total's down to 9.5 consensus everywhere. But when it was 10, like the number of 10 doesn't really exist at this park for totals. It's just a massive number for the park. So even at 9.5, it's a big number. But it's scary, right, to bet an under in this game. That's why I didn't do it. These pitchers are going to give up a tremendous amount of hard contact, and the bullpens for both teams are blah at best. So just made it really tough for me to want to fire on this under. With that said, and somewhat to Gary's point, man, you can get like 1-2 for these teams at very cheap prices. The leadoff hitter for both teams in a total, it's 9.5. They're both 2,500. One could argue your one-offs could be here. They're just complete punt plays. They don't need to do much. They're leading off. They're going to get at least 4 at-bats in a game that's going to see bad pitching throughout. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great spot to one-off bats, the leadoff guy for both teams. You want to stack a little bit this game, that's fine too. There should be runs. Just to be clear, the reason I like the under was just because of the park. I think that, it wouldn't be crazy if this game goes 8-9 runs, under hits, and a lot of these cheap guys get there for you. So I do agree that bats make a ton of sense, and obviously nothing to do with the pitching.
Okay. We got a few more games left on the slate. Actually, only 3. That was interesting because I think that everybody's going to be on the Pirates today, and that's going to be the chalk. And if they can't get through against Keuchel, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are out of their luck early in this game. Gary, I want to eat the chalk really bad with the Pirates, but something's telling me not to. Something's telling me not to.
Play Paguro. He's not going to be owned at all.
Paguro it is. Just writing it down. That's all I'm doing. We got the Mets and the Cardinals next. So on one side, we got Daniel Hudson, who, I don't think he's going to sink. He's been giving up some home runs lately, but all right. So you got him going up against the Mets. And on the other side, Cookie Carrasco, a pitcher that we have loved to target so far this season. Mets visiting the Cardinals. You want to make a case for bats in this game, Gary?
Sign me up for some St. Louis Cardinals in this spot against Carrasco. I've been doing it every start. I will continue to do it here. Love this whole lineup here for the Cardinals. If you look in here, I mean, you got 5 guys here with ISOs over 200 over the last 30 days against righties. Edmund, Burleson, Nato, Contreras, Palacios. Don't count Palacios. He's only had 2 at-bats. But yeah, either way, I still like this St. Louis team. You got a terrible bullpen behind Carrasco too. So terrible pitcher, terrible bullpen. I will always be into 5-man that team. And on the other side, I really don't hate I talked earlier about there being lack of cheap pitching options. I don't hate Hudson here. Don't get crazy with Hudson. It's not a core play or anything. I'm just going to mix him in my 150 just to get my lineups a little bit different. But if you look over the last 30 days against righty, this Mets team has actually been hitting the ball pretty good. They have a 208 ISO and a 342 WOBA over the last 30 days, only a 17% strikeout rate. But Hudson gets so many ground balls. I mean, that's how he Houdini's his way into a good start or a decent start. So, I mean, he could possibly do that, and he could also get blown up. So I will have some Mets 5-mans as well in my 150. Like I said, this whole lineup pretty much has been hitting the ball. At least the top 6 in the lineup have been hitting the ball pretty well over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching.
All right, very good. JJ, total here is 10. Juice the over at minus 120. Plus 105 for the Mets, minus 25 for the Cardinals. So the book at least laying a pretty big number here. Juice to the over too with Carrasco and Hudson on the mound. What do you think about these two teams?
Yes, I bet there's under 10 plus 100. You could wait maybe and try to get 10.5 at like minus 115-ish. I mean, that would mean you're paying 15 cents for that half run. Not in love with that. Reason I like it under, I get it. There's a lot of things here for how this could go over. By the way, tickets for this game are $3 if you're looking to go to a late game in St. Louis. However, Dakota Hudson, when you like to play him, is typically at home. I know that this year's home road splits aren't that egregious. They're actually pretty similar, but typically this guy throws a lot better at home. Contrary to that, Carrasco usually throws terrible on the road, and his home road splits have been very eye-popping this year. With that said, the Cardinals overall aren't really hitting that well lately. I mean, yeah, you could target a few bats here and there, and I believe Arenado's not in the lineup today. He is in the lineup, excuse me. It's really the bottom of that lineup that kind of scares me a bit. You get Baker, Palacios, and Wynn towards the bottom. Almost just feels like a complete black hole. Mind you, that similar black hole on the Mets end. Now, the Mets have been hitting, but again, I do think Dakota Hudson's in a good spot to get quite a few ground balls, and it's really just a big number here. So as long as I can get Carrasco to go 5 innings and give up 2 or 3 earned, I feel pretty good about this because the Cardinals have been a bit Jekyll and Hyde lately in terms of the bad version of them. And the Mets have been hitting, but if Hudson can kind of keep them at bay, 10 is just a big number. So, again, another game where I could see lineup stacks or mini stacks getting there and the game still falling under. So I do like the spot. It's purely a number play, though, under 10.
Okay, we keep rolling on. We've got 2 more games in the slate. This might be my favorite game. We get to target Jordan Lyles. It is the Cubs and the Royals. This one's at Wrigley Field. You know, Lyles is coming off his horrific outing against Seattle. He's a guy that has been pummeled quite often this season, Gary. And you got a Cubs lineup that's kind of come back down to earth after their scorching hot run after the All-Star break. With that being said, on the other side, the Royals facing Kyle Hendricks, not somebody I'm that interested in targeting today. Can you start with the Cubs side of things, and do you want to make a case to roster some of them this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, I like this game a lot more if the wind wasn't blowing dead in from center field at 10 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But that, obviously everybody feels the same way about that. If the wind was blowing out here, this would be the highest total game on the slate. And we'd be stacking both sides up. So why not just stack both sides up anyway? I think both pitchers are terrible. Obviously, Jordan Lyles is really bad. He should be my local bagger at the Food Lion down the street.
Food Lion. Wow.
Yeah, Food Lion. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have those fancy stuff here.
No Whole Foods.
Yorktown,
no Whole
Virginia.
Foods by you. No Sprouts.
No Wegmans.
I mean,
Wegmans.
We don't have a Wegmans. We don't have a Sprouts. We do have a Whole Foods, but
no Hy-Vee.
What's a Hy-Vee?
Don't worry about it.
I don't know what that means.
No ad.
Anyway, yeah. So like you said, the Cubs came out of the break very hot. So looking at their last 30-day data against righties is obviously going to reflect that. They have a 235 ISO and a 397 WOBA over the last 30 days against righties, and it's basically the whole lineup doing all the hitting. I mean, everybody top to bottom in this lineup has been hitting the ball really good. They only have a 19% strikeout rate. So yeah, I definitely like him here. Cody Bellinger went off yesterday for 2 dingers, I think. Could probably see the same thing here against Jordan Lyles. So yeah, definitely like Chicago. And I like the Kansas City bats too, especially Bobby Witt. This dude is just a complete and total stud. He's got a 505 WOBA against righties over the last month and 95 plate appearances. I mean, that is just incredible. Only a 12% strikeout rate. Massey has also been hitting the ball extremely well against right-handed pitchers. He's got a 272 ISO, 361 WOBA with only a 12% strikeout rate. I can keep on going too. Nelson Velasquez, the former Cub. He's been hitting the ball well. MJ Melendez, he's been hitting the ball well. So, yeah, I like both sides of this game for bats. I like game stacking it. So, yeah, I'm all in. I prefer to 5-man the Cubs, but I will have some 5-man Kansas City stacks too.
Okay. JJ, again, we got a nice little total here, 9, juice to the over, -20. Royals plus 180 on the road. Any thought into investing in this game with the Cubs hosting the Royals?
No love. I think the line's pretty sharp. When you like to play Hendricks is when he's at home. I think I wish he was priced a little cheaper for the spot. He's probably a safe option to get you 15, 16, 17 points. That's likely not going to be enough for you to take up for a takedown. I just worry about his upside. But it seems like he has a pretty high floor today if you're into that. And just to talk on Bobby Witt, yeah, the dude has no protection in this lineup and just continues to rake at the dish. It looks like by the end of the year, he should be 35 and 50 in terms of 35 homers and 50 stolen bases and hitting around 290-ish. Just an incredible season from him. And again, with no protection, you throw him on a team with a little more protection, he probably has even better numbers. But in terms of this game, no, it would be Hendricks for me would be the only option. And Bellinger, I mean, can this dude piss in a cup already? Like since the All-Star break, what's he at, like 380? 380 with a bunch of homers out of nowhere. Like the dude was struggling most of the year. Was dog shit in LA last year. Yeah, I mean, kudos to him. He's been playing great, but I have suspicions.
Suspicions, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. We got one more game on the DFS slate, and then JJ and I will take it home on the betting side for the last few games. Milwaukee visiting Texas. Scherzer and Hauser is the pitching matchup here, Gary. So Adrian Hauser is a guy I've been liking to target here quite a bit this season. Rangers have not looked great over the last couple of games offensively. I don't know what's going on there. I know you like Scherzer a lot, so maybe that takes the Milwaukee bats out. What do you want to do with Texas today?
I'm gonna pretend like the bats in this game do not exist. I almost wrote up Hauser as a cheap option on today's slate. He does have a 30% strikeout rate against lefties over the last month. So I mean, he's been striking people out a little bit. I didn't list him on the playbook, but I might have to include Hauser in my 150 pool here. Nobody's going to play him against Texas. And like you said, their offense is scuffling a little bit as of late. So, yeah, I don't hate taking some shots here with Hauser. And like I said earlier on the show, like for me, I don't think Max Scherzer is going to be owned high enough. I'm seeing him as like the 5th highest owned guy right now, which is crazy to me on this slate where there's a bunch of questionable pitching options. I'm just going to be way over the field. I'm going to probably have close to 80% of Max Scherzer in my 150 today. I'm just going to take those points. He's been really good. I've been targeting this Milwaukee team all season. I know if you look at their last 30-day numbers, they've only struck out like 17% against righties. But this team is terrible. They're not a good offense. They got a 3.6 implied total here. I'll be way over the field on Max.
JJ, on the surface, I'm telling you, the most profitable bet for me all season long has been this Rangers run line. It has not, especially at home, has not covered. Last couple of nights, this team's kind of gone into a shell. I wonder if you think that changes today. Again, the run line is even money. You usually get it between $1.15 and higher. Today it's even money with Scherzer on the mound. Minus 205 is the money line. If you want to back the Brewers, plus 170, 8.5 total here. JJ, any thoughts?
Nothing I love here. I will say for the price, I prefer Fried over Scherzer. Again, just because of the price, I feel like they have very similar upside today, all things considered. But again, I could see why people would play Scherzer, especially Gary's got more upside in terms of a ceiling. But in terms of just metrics alone, Fried looks similar to him as far as projections go. But with that said, I don't necessarily love anything. You mentioned the fact the Rangers have been scuffling a bit. Hauser's been okay, right? Definitely hasn't been bad. So all things considered, I think the line's pretty sharp. And I'm not saying fade Scherzer, but I would definitely prefer to have Fried over him for the price.
Just bring this up here. I know you got a Piggly Wiggly by you, Gary, if you're down there in the South.
Yes.
Winn-Dixie.
We ain't got no Winn-Dixie. I ain't seen no Piggly Wiggly either.
Really? Oh, you're not in Atlanta, though. You're in Southern Virginia. So I'm surprised you're not Piggly Wiggly, though. It's a little surprising, to be perfectly honest with you. You're out of here now. Go enjoy the day. Who's your play of the day, dude?
I'm going to go to the Kansas City Royals. It's going to be Bobby Witt. He's going to be 5% owned again today. I'm just going to keep on playing him. He's a printing machine. He just prints cash every day. Give me Bobby Witt to hit another bomb today.
You love using him with some hot cakes as
well.
Hey,
so Bobby Witt, this might be a hot take, but Bobby Witt's going to be as good as Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm telling you.
He's great. He's got a pedigree too. His dad was a league average pitcher for a while, maybe an all-star a couple of times, and he plays in Kansas City. So Yankees fans, maybe he can be a Yankee in a few years when his service time is up. Gary, always wonderful to see you. Thank you for bringing sanity and a bit of calm to the disaster show.
And the Yankee slander.
And the Yankees slander. Take care, Gary.
Later, Gary.
We all want Gary to be able to eat. We don't want him starving. So make sure you sign up for Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. Code is NFL20, 20% off lifetime of your subscription. Either we go, you go, or everybody just stays alive for eternity, and you continue to get this great deal and win DFS slates for the next couple of centuries. JJ, we got a couple games left, and then we'll get out of here. I know you got to do the NASCAR show, so let's roll through these. White Sox at the Rockies here in Denver today. Nice warm day. Dylan Cease, Chris Flexen, the pitching matchup. Another heavy total at 12. White Sox favored on the road at minus 142. Flexen and the Rockies plus 120. Yeah, the Rockies at home could give a fight at least. Did you give any thought to plus 120 on the Colorado side?
Yes, I'll tell you why I didn't bet this game. The White Sox are minus 140, and I really wanted to lay a first 5 run line with them. However, they just have not been hitting in this series against very targetable pitchers. Flexen's another targetable pitcher. But the Rockies have been just really smashing the ball at home this series. They got 25, 26 plus runs so far in 2 games. With that said, Dylan Cease is in a spot where in theory he might pitch okay, or might pitch at least a lot better than Flexen, but because the White Sox aren't hitting, it makes it tough. And because they're not hitting, it makes it tough to love the total in either direction, because you've gotten there over the last 2 games because the Rockies have gotten there alone for you. The Rockies are going to be seeing their toughest pitcher of the series. But it's another warm game in Coors. Ball is going to carry. I just have concerns over the White Sox being unable to hit the ball recently. And the Mariners and the Rockies are going to be facing their best pitcher of the series. So a bunch of arrows going in different directions for me. So it becomes a pass.
Okay. Very good. No Rockies team total or anything. Just completely pass on this thing.
Yeah. Just a pass spot.
Orioles A's got a couple pretty good starters here. We got Bradish and JP Sears. The total's not heavy. It's just sitting at 8. Juice to the over at minus 120. This game again is in Oakland. I got to go look at the winds. Usually the winds are kind of mitigated in these West Coast ballparks, but we got the whole hurricane situation going down. Minus 198 for the Orioles. So I know that takes us both out of the running for laying them on the money line. What about plus 164 for Sears and the A's, JJ?
Yeah, not a spot I want to jump on the A's. You are getting some slight wind out, about anywhere between 8 to 10 miles an hour, blowing out to like right field. What I find interesting about this game has seen some serious steam up. Total open 7.5. It's now 8.5, I believe. And I always wonder, especially when I don't understand why a total moves this way. I get it. Bradish has been, relatively good, but the advanced stuff has him maybe regression coming. JP Sears has been okay, but he can definitely be hit. Ballpark's very forgiving. It's not super warm. I just don't understand the full steam here with this total going up. So I'll just pass entirely. Look, Orioles are in a good spot to win this game, obviously, but it wouldn't surprise me if this game went either way. And by the way, the Orioles, they're not very quietly 76-47, but what a season out of them this year. Kudos all around.
Yeah, everything's just come together for them at the right time. And I think they're a year ahead of schedule, too, because this was the year they were calling up.
They are a very young team. I think that goes back to Gary's point on why they're going to struggle, why the Yankees are going to struggle for a while, because they just don't have young components to keep up with a lot of these teams. Even the Blue Jays are relatively young, all things considered. So, yeah, I could. Now it's starting to see more and more why Gary thinks the Yankees will be bad for some time.
Yeah, some of the Red Sox youngsters are coming up, too. There seems that division, boy, the Yankees really are falling behind. Phillies Nationals, Wheeler Williams, the pitching matchup. Nationals always just seem to give the Phillies fits, whether it's winning or just keeping themselves in these games. Total's 8.5, minus 120 to the over, plus 190 for the Nationals. Looks like we got another nice warm day there. If you haven't heard my spiel, I covered DC sports teams for 13 years, and I've been to Nationals Park thousands of times. It feels like it was probably only hundreds of times, but when that ballpark, when it's in the 50s and below, it plays really big. And when it gets into the mid 70s and above, it plays really, really small. So keep that in mind with some fly balls today. But JJ, I've got nothing, no plays in this game. I don't want to mess with it. Do you want to mess with it?
Little Sunday night baseball fun. I'm sure a lot of people are going to go to Wheeler here. I guess in theory, it could make sense. As far as I say Wheeler, not so much in the DFS end, but Wheeler in terms of betting the Phillies here. In some capacity, maybe you bet run line, maybe you lay a little extra vig first 5 half run. I don't love this. What do they call this? The Little League Classic. They play this game in Williamsport, so it's not like it could be wrong. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Holden. This game's not played in Washington, is it?
Little League Classic. Is that what we got here? Wonderful.
I think it's in Williamsport, because even me, like, I'm looking at the total 8.5. Like, if this game was in Washington in that type of warm weather, one would have assumed this would have been like 9.5. I mean, either way. It is a tough game to cap. I know every year that they do these. And by the way, tickets as low as $47 for this game. Quite an expensive game to go to for a Sunday night. With all that said, easy pass for me overall. I don't like anything betting in this game. Added variance with them playing at a different field. And Trevor Williams, big fly ball guy, right? You expect Philly to be able to take advantage of that. And if Wheeler pitches moderately okay, you would assume Philly escapes the series with a win here.
Just look, what do we got football-wise? We only got one game tonight. It's the same time as the Little League Classic with the Saints and the Chargers. So I will be watching football tonight, JJ.
Love it.
It'll be a wonderful scene. Preseason football. Yay! I mean, it's gross, but I enjoy it. Talk to me here, buddy. Let's get to your play of the day. What's happening?
Yeah, so favorite play is definitely the Sox money line. I got that minus 105. Again, they just got the Yankees reeling, and it's a lot of respect, that line for the Yanks with how they've been playing. So definitely love the Red Sox. I bet a few unders as well, as mentioned. I bet that under in the Astros Mariners at 8.5, which tips off about 7-8 minutes. And then I bet the under 10 Cardinals Mets. For that under 10 Cardinals Mets, I advise you do not watch that game. That is going to be a tough game to watch. There's going to be a decent amount of foot traffic. Again, just a big number, all things considered. So I did like that under. But favorite bet of the day is definitely the Sox money line.
All right. My play is going to be the Rangers run line. I know they haven't been putting up the runs the last couple of games. I know that we're down to even money, but Scherzer has just been absolutely shoving since coming over to Texas. Besides for that first inning, I think he gave up 3 runs. Since then, he's cruised. The Rangers should have a nice day out there. JJ, good seeing you, buddy. As always, Gary, whatever you're doing right now, thanks for hanging out. NASCAR show coming up next, JJ?
Yes, should start in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So obviously, if you're a NASCAR enthusiast at all, definitely check it out. Coop always comes with good information, and I try to also come with some good information. But yeah, that's going to be out in a few minutes, so we'll talk that and go from there.
All right, I'm obligated to say it was good to see you, JJ. NFL 20 is the code. Keep running pure.